has been a long time, and I am sorry for that. But we're back. We're back, we've got new videos planned, and I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about how I want to take the channel from here. So basically what this video and future videos are going to be is more of a process. I've thought long and hard about why I even have a YouTube, about why I like to draw, about why I want to kind of share that experience, and it's mostly because when I started out doing this, I felt very intimidated by seeing people like Jazza or Bailey who had succeeded, and I know that they've struggled a lot and have worked very hard to get to that point, but I kind of felt like I wanted to see a smaller artist or an unknown artist who had gone through the steps and had kind of tracked their journey. And I wanted to take the opportunity to show me doing that instead of kind of wanting, oh god, I need to find someone. Why don't I just show you what I'm doing? So in the meantime, that's what these videos are going to be coming up. They're going to be kind of a process, an experimentation, or learning different things. So we're going to have a mix of learning how to draw different things, learning how to work with different mediums, and kind of that area. So not really speed paints, more just experiences. I want to show you guys what I'm doing. It is by no means the right or wrong way to do it. It's just what I'm trying and what I think may or may not work for me. So that's what you can look forward to seeing in the next few months, and then we'll kind of see how things are going, see what we think. They take a little bit more time to work on, a little bit more time to edit, so they won't be super frequent, but I think they're gonna come out pretty okay. So in the meantime, let's jump into the first one. I'm gonna do some audio over the drawing so you can see kind of what's going on. So for this week, I decided to work on hands. Part of why I've done this overall is because I feel like I need a foundation. I feel like you cannot be a stylistic or successful artist without understanding the basics, without having a foundation or a core. And if you don't understand anatomy, how are you going to shift or change anatomy to make it fit your style? If you don't understand how to draw basic shapes, how are you gonna make them creatively yours? So I'm not in any classes, I don't have any intent to go to art school, I'm gonna continue being self-taught and self-trained, but to that end, I really want to focus some time on that. So that's kind of where we're gonna start. We're gonna back up, we're gonna go to basics, and I'm gonna start addressing things the way I think might work. So to that end, we're gonna start with hands. Everybody's little drawing nemesis, hands and feet. So, hands are on the agenda today, and I actually did these sketches over the course of 2 days, and these first ones that you're seeing here are actually my husband's hands. I sat and took several pictures of his hands in different poses and used those. I just drew straight from there. I would advise that you do this. I think anyone who doesn't use references is cheating themselves a bit. I think once you get to the point where you have that visual library in your head and you are comfortable enough and have drawn enough of them to understand how to do it, that's great, and maybe you don't need references anymore at that point. But I'm not there yet. A lot of artists aren't there yet and aren't comfortable not using references. So if you need them, use them. I don't know why there's a stigma against them, because you need to draw from life, you need to draw what you see, and a photograph will get you there. I worked really hard this time to draw from photos and not from drawings. That's something I tend to go to. I like drawing from a drawing because I see it right there and it's very easy for me. But if I want to kind of get back to that actual understanding of the form, I'm gonna stick with photos for now. So that's what we did. I spent about 30 to 45 minutes on these sketches, and I was pretty happy with them. I was pretty okay with most of them, but I will say that it was a sufficient kick in the ego. I felt like I was gonna do a lot better than this, and I didn't. That is such a good experience. It's such a good thing to have happen to you, because you have to understand what you need to work on. You have to understand where you went right, where you went wrong, and there's always room for improvement. So this showed me where I need to improve. So for the next day, I actually decided to try something else in my little repertoire of perhaps going to learn from techniques, and this was to draw from a tutorial or kind of an artist instructional set. And you can see here I have the Draw with Jazza Easy Anatomy book. I got this a while ago. I use his brushes on Photoshop. I love him on YouTube, so I figured it was kind of a no-brainer. I worked through his worksheet on how to kind of draw hands from shapes that were pre-existing, and I was really happy with the text of this document. I felt like it was really helpful to read and kind of understand basic shapes, but I do think that the worksheet didn't quite make me feel like I was learning because he had done a lot of the work. His worksheet already had these shapes detailed out, so it felt a little bit like I was getting kind of an easy assist in working on them. So for something like this, I would actually really like to use this exact worksheet again, but take my own sketchbook and my own paper and break it down from there after working on this. And then after that, I just took a bunch more of the pictures I'd taken of my husband's hands and my hands, and I decided to do some gesture drawing. And with the goal of gesture drawing for me is more to get the shape down. You only have 30 seconds for each drawing, so you have to get as much of the shape conveyed as accurately as you can within that time frame. You're not going to be able to detail things, you're not going to be able to get into the nitty-gritty, so get that freaking shape down and make it a hand, god dang it. So that's what I did. I took 10 pictures and I spent 30 seconds on each one. And I was happy with most of them. I think I really need to work on the differences between a feminine and a masculine hand. I think I did okay, but I was pretty concerned with getting the shape down in these gestures and not so focused on detailing things out. So that was kind of part of the issue with gesture drawing, but this was something that made me feel like I'd gotten some work done. Sitting and just whipping out sketches was great. I felt like I was really focusing on a task. I felt like I had something to show for it at the end, and I felt like I had seen where I still needed to do some work, and that was awesome. I really enjoy gesture drawing. I have tons of pages in my bigger Canson sketchbook of figures, of figure gesture drawing, where I set the timer on a website. I'll link it in the description, and they give you models, poses, and you just whip through them in 30 seconds each, and it's great. It's a great way to spend 10 to 20 minutes just warming up. So this was something that I would like to do at the beginning of these studies in the future. I would like to do the gesture, I think, first. So we'll try that next time. So that's the hand study for this week. I'm pretty happy with how this went because I don't think I succeeded, if that makes sense. I'm happy I didn't succeed. I feel like I learned because I didn't have, perfection right off the bat. There were things that I saw I really need to work on. I can do hands and positions pretty easily. I can't just do this very easily. It's hard for me to understand the placement of the fingers, how long they should be. That's hard still, and I was actually pretty excited to learn that I don't know that because it gives you something to practice so that you can get better. And I think even with the contorted positions, I don't define the feminine or the masculine very well. I don't accent shadows, or twists or folds in the hand, so there's a lot I still get to work on, and that was really exciting, but I think these were good habits. These were good things to start the process. So lessons learned from this one: gesture draw. Absolutely do gesture drawing for a fixed amount of time for each sketch. Whip them out, crank them, just get them done. Get the shape on the page, learn that make sure you can tell that it's a hand, move on. Another big lesson: use photos. Definitely use photos. Don't be afraid of references. I have this huge love for references because I can't go out and find a Victorian era building in my neighborhood. So if there's a picture of it, I'm gonna draw it, I'm gonna use it. So definitely gesture drawing, use references. And a third big lesson: if you have an artist who has skills to share, please take advantage of them. Jazza is one of those artists for me. People like Maya Kern, I'm actually one of her patrons, and she does tutorials and she gives me feedback every month, or a Danae, or Bailey, or Audra Claire. They all have skill sets that they share in YouTube videos, or how to draw guides, or books, or Patreon, or whatever. If you have an artist who does something very well, try to find out how they do it and learn from them. Don't copy them, don't trace their stuff. Understand that they have a grasp of anatomy and the basics, and that's what they're starting with. Get there yourself, and then you can start to kind of understand how they're incorporating their own style into it. I use Jez's book as my starting off point, and you know, once I get really confident with anatomy and drawing, maybe I'll be able to kind of infuse my own-ness into it, and that'll be awesome. But for now, basics. So, I think the most important lesson superseding all those three is learn the basics, and that's the goal. That's not really a lesson for the week, that's the point. That's the point. That's the whole point of these videos, is to learn. Let's learn things. So, that's it for this video. I've got all my social media down below if you want to check any of them out. I post pretty frequently on Instagram. I have a Patreon that I'm kind of trying to rework, so that's there. Check them out. In the meantime, we'll see you in the next video. Bye!